Engage. Hello, it's the Christian Bachgalupi Show. Man, things got dark all of a sudden on the screen. Anyway, trying a new camera angle, a little bit farther out to the right. You can put on my beautiful face, the moneymaker. So anyway, it's Monday morning. As you may know if you watch the show regularly, which I'm sure someone does, maybe. On Monday mornings, am on my way home from working on Cosmic College Baseball. But anyway, and that's when I record the show, when I'm driving, because it's the best chance for peace and quiet and privacy and whatnot. And it's funny? Like, doing the show in my head, like thinking about doing the show, is so much easier than when I actually hit that record button. And I mean, obviously it's just the pressure of, doing the thing and not messing up when you're trying to do the show in one takes without pausing or anything, even though I think I've solved the pause problem. I just gotta upload it differently. But anyway, I'm definitely not gonna pause it while I'm driving, probably. I'm always wondering, am I ever going to get pulled over while doing the show and then, have a whole cop interaction as the episode? And honestly, I hope not, because I don't want to get pulled over. Despite what some people think, it's not always so great getting pulled over, even for white people. It depends on the cop. Some cops will give you a hassle, whether that's their regular spiel or they're just having a bad day, or there's different reasons. Or maybe they're trying to make their quota and they're trying to get you to mess up. I don't know, but it's not always fun. I wish I could keep a log in my head of what I've talked about on the show. But considering not a lot of people have seen the show, repeating myself is not that big a deal. And if you are tired of me repeating myself, tell me what I've repeated in the comments. So, on to what I was saying about, cops pulling you over and whatnot. It's it's not always, it's not, sometimes it's nice and smooth, it goes by quick. Sometimes it takes forever. Sometimes the cop's a douche. Sometimes the cop's cool. I hear people saying and it's black people. I don't even know if I should. Yeah, African American. Let's say, or hold on, let me get on this highway. So anyway, they say things like, not everyone, just some, but that's who I hear from. I hear from African Americans say, I shouldn't have to teach my son how to interact with cops. Yes and no. I wasn't taught how to interact with cops. I watched how my dad did it, and I also hear horror stories about. So I don't mess with people with guns in general, especially cops, because I'm pretty sure, which this kind of brings up something else, you mess with cops even if you're in the right and you get shot, things aren't, you're shot, and so that's not going to get taken back. If you're lucky, you could soon make a bunch of money, and you're not totally effed up, but usually that doesn't happen, I don't think. I don't know the numbers on that. That's something for Back to Brag News to look up, which I really need to work on. This week and into next week, I want to do election-related stuff, even though at Back to Brag we don't really want to focus on any one thing. We like to have an idea of, we're not trying to tell you what's news, we're just sharing it, passing along information. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Man, I kind of kind of went from one subject to another without finishing any of those thoughts. Which again goes back to my original thought of doing the show in my head is so much easier than when I hit record. And again, that's pressure. There's a time constraint because I only do 10 minutes. And maybe I should be more flexible, which I am sometimes. Some of these episodes go a little longer than 10 minutes. And some accidentally have gone less than 10 minutes, which goes back to an even earlier point of me figuring out how to upload those videos where I use the pause button. Excuse me. So anyway, let me go back to something my stumbling on the correct term of African American or black people or just races in general. Dude, when I was growing up, the appropriate term, I feel like constantly changed. I'm not, I don't mean like every day, but it was like for a few years, calling people black, white was fine, but you don't call like Asians yellow and Mexicans brown, and it never came up whether to call Indians red. Even though I've heard some reference that, saying things like calling someone an apple because they're an Indian on the outside, but they act white, so they're, like an apple. Which is crazy. But anyway, like I'm saying, like the terms change is like, you'll be fine, and then all of a sudden it's like, what? You use that term? And it's funny, like, I'm still wondering when Caucasian came, when did that show up? Because it was always white people, and then all of a sudden I see this word Caucasian, I'm like, what the heck is that? I was a kid, mind you, it didn't happen when I was a grown up. But I wasn't like super young, I was probably like in high school, maybe middle school, when I was first exposed to the term Caucasian. And honestly, I'm not sure I like that term. But whatever, it's such a weird term to me. And really, I think certain people have certain preferences. And a perfect example is Redskins, because some people feel that was, let's see the explanation. I'm trying to remember the explanation I heard. Pretty much it was like, it's kind of what they've called themselves. And it wasn't until the white man rolled up and was like, oh, let us help you. This term. And then, I don't know. It seemed, but I don't know. I think what my point is with these terms, it's like, and it's actually terms for anything. I think I've mentioned this before. It's like a term will be acceptable, and it has no derogatory meaning to it. So this is a term we're using, and everyone's cool with it. And then somewhere along the line, it's like, oh, that's derogatory. Oh, that's inappropriate. It's like, why? That's like the term. Like, nope. That's an old word that those terrible people used to use. Like, okay. I mean, like, something like the word mentally retarded. Retarded started being used as an insult. So I see why you don't want to... I don't know, that one's weird because... This one might go over 10 minutes. It's weird because we don't call mentally retarded people mentally retarded, we call them mentally handicapped. But then we also aren't supposed to use the term retarded because it's an insult to mentally handicapped. But we don't use the term retarded to describe mentally handicapped anymore. It's like all these terms. So I think wrapping up all these different terms gets so jostled up, and it's no wonder some people trip up and was like, oh my gosh, he used that term? He said that? And that's far different from the people who obviously are saying something inappropriate. So, yeah. We'll shut this video down at 10:30. And let me know if I said anything inappropriate here, and I will address that. Because I don't mean to. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow, all that stuff. Peace.